You're listening to Body Confident Friday, the place to be for tools, strategies, and perspectives to help you feel more comfortable and confident in your body. I'm Judy Craddock, the Body Confidence Coach, author of the Little Book of Body Confidence, and creator of the Body Confidence Journey, the coaching program for women who want to stop chasing the perfect body and embrace the one that they are in. Welcome to the show. So today's Body Confident Friday is going to be a bit different. Actually, it's going to be quite a lot different. Don't worry, all will become clear as I go through this episode. So what I want to talk about today is the idea of moving beyond body confidence. So I'm going to explain what that means to me, and I'm going to be talking both personally and professionally. And also I'd like you to think about, as you hear me talk about moving beyond body confidence, what it might mean for you as well. So if I were to define what I think moving beyond body confidence means, to me, it's about no longer really striving to be confident in your body, but being okay with that. Now, if you've been following me for a while, listening to Body Confident Friday, you know that I don't really talk about body confidence. I talk about how to be neutral about or accepting in your body rather than feeling confident in it. And that's because I think that the idea of body confidence and body positivity, although it's possible for some people, it can just feel like another unattainable ideal to achieve, in the same way that, trying to achieve the perfect body can feel unattainable, and we can end up putting too much pressure on ourselves to feel confident in our bodies when we don't need to live a fulfilling life. So when you move beyond body confidence, I see it as an acceptance that 24/7 body confidence, or even half that amount of time, isn't achievable, and relentlessly trying to pursue it is only going to make you feel worse about yourself. So instead, it's healthier to take the focus off your body and onto meaningful activities that are aligned with your values. And your values are just the things that are really the most important to you in your life. And if you can feel neutral in your body, or not think about it much, or you can make peace with your body by accepting it, it does allow you the time and space to pursue the things that are most important to you. So being beyond body confidence is knowing that you have value, regardless of how you look or whether you feel confident in your body or not. And I hope that you feel that I've done my best to share tools, strategies, and perspectives with you to really help you experience greater peace and ease in your body, without you feeling that you have to love your body or like it or feel confident in it to live a meaningful life. And personally, I'm at a stage in my life where I'm beyond body confidence. I no longer worry about feeling body confident. It's not something that I strive for anymore. I know that it's something for me that I'm never going to achieve, and it feels too unattainable. So I'm not even going to spend my time and energy trying to get there. And I feel that I have come a long way over the last 10 years since I became a body confidence coach, as I called myself, or more recently, I prefer the term body image coach, because of the fact that I do find body confidence as a goal something that can feel quite unattainable for a lot of people. Because when I first came to be a body image coach, and that was 10 years ago, I didn't hate how I looked anymore, and I had really hated it, and I had really struggled with the way I felt about my body. But I certainly, I didn't feel confident about my body once I started being a a body image coach. And just to give you a little bit of a background to me and sort of my body image story, if you haven't heard me talk about it before, from my early childhood years, from about the age of 6 or 7 until well into my 30s, I would definitely describe my relationship with my body as quite complicated. I thought that I looked weird, and I felt that I constantly needed to work on my appearance to be acceptable to other people. And when I began coaching, or when I became a coach in the early 2000s, and I did all my training, I started to unpick the beliefs that I had about my body and how I looked. And I used the coaching tools and techniques that I learned to help me with my body image and also just my general confidence and self-esteem. And, you know, those things that I did, they did make a difference. I started to feel less conscious in my body, and I felt more grateful and accepting of it. And I started to see it as, you know, more of a vehicle rather than an object to be looked at. But there was still this nagging feeling inside me of being different, not fitting in, not being enough, not having as much worth as others, even though I felt more at ease in my body. And it occurred to me at that time that, you know, maybe my body was never the issue in the first place, but, you know, trying to fix it, even to make peace with it in a way, had become a way of coping with some more complex and deep-rooted emotions, you know, perhaps some things that I had never acknowledged or dealt with before. And when I look back on my life, I feel like I've spent a lot of it really trying to prove my worth through things like academic achievements, jobs, status, and also my appearance. Because even when I felt neutral in my body, feelings of unworthiness were popping up in other ways. So they kind of rear their heads in other areas of my life, those feelings of unworthiness. So I'd feel like a failure in my business, in my friendships, or my relationship with my family. And I kind of knew that unless I dealt with whatever was really behind these feelings of unworthiness, and I knew then it wasn't my body, whatever was behind those feelings of unworthiness or not enoughness, those things were just going to keep popping up because there was something else going on. So I decided to go into therapy to really explore what was going on behind the scenes, almost like trying to pull the curtain back on things. And over the last 6 years, there have been some really big things that have unfolded in my life, and I've been in therapy during all of that time. And, you know, I don't think Body Confident Friday is necessarily the place for me to go into all the details of what was going on with me, or what's been going on with me over the last 6 years. But I'm going to give you the highlights so you can kind of understand really what the purpose of this episode is. And I am getting there. So you may or may not know, I think I did one episode of Body Confident Friday where I talked about being adopted. And so I was adopted as a baby, but I never knew who my birth parents were. And then in 2018, I found my birth mother along with some other biological family members, and I was reunited with them in the following year. And I used one of those DNA testing sites to help me find my biological family. And as you might imagine, this was really huge for me, and it brought up all sorts of emotions, which were quite overwhelming at the time. And so I went in search of knowledge to kind of help me deal with what I was facing. And that's always my go-to, is to look for information and knowledge to help me. And then, you know, as with the work that I've been doing on body image, I then like to kind of share that knowledge with other people. So I started by doing a Google search, and I think I looked up the psychology of adoption. And what I found opened up like a whole new world and understanding for me, because having spent years believing that being adopted had no psychological impact on me, because frankly, that's the dominant narrative in our society, or it definitely was in the 1970s when I was adopted. I suddenly appreciated that being adopted had a psychological impact on me and still does to this day. And those feelings that I was having of unworthiness, not feeling good enough, I also feared and do fear abandonment, struggling with my sense of identity, thinking I looked weird. All those things finally made sense to me. And in the adoptee community, it's called coming out of the fog. And it's a term that's used to describe that moment when you realise the impact of being separated from your family of origin, and particularly from your birth mother. And today it is more widely accepted, although by no means universally, that adoption is trauma and can have lifelong consequences for the adoptee. And now, as I learn more about the impact of adoption and the impact it's had on me, and I work through my trauma, I do feel this calling to share my experience with other adoptees, just to help them feel less alone and make sense of what they're going through. And this brings me back again to being beyond body confident. So personally, I'm beyond body confidence because as I value myself more, I care less about how I look or if I feel confident in my body or not. And professionally, I'm also at a point where I'm beyond body confidence because I feel ready to put my heart and soul into different work that reflects the journey that I'm now on. And working with body image has been an important part of my journey as a woman, a coach, and an author. And today I have mostly made peace with my body. Let's be real, not always. We're always going to have days when we struggle with the way we feel about our body. But for me, one of the final pieces of my body acceptance jigsaw really dropped into place when I saw myself in another person, when I saw my birth mother in pictures, when I met her for the first time because I saw myself reflected in her. Because adoptees lack that genetic mirror growing up. We are not used to growing up looking like anybody. We don't necessarily know where a lot of our personality and our skills and our attributes, where all that stuff comes from. And so lacking that genetic mirror, it means that we can struggle with things like the way we feel about our body and more generally our identity. And I've loved working with clients on their body image. It's been fulfilling, very fulfilling work. And I feel quite sad saying this as a sense of grief to this as well. But, I think the time has come to focus on a new calling. And honestly, I don't 100% know how things are going to unfold for me. What I'm going to do is take a leap of faith and follow my intuition, follow that calling that is constantly there with me now, asking me, telling me that it's time to share something different. And at the moment, I'm working on a new book or books about my experience of being an adoptee and healing from trauma. And I know that a lot of what I'm going to be doing is going to involve writing. But beyond that, I'm not sure. So like I said, it's a leap of faith. So it's kind of sad for me to say that this is going to be my last ever episode of Body Confident Friday. And at the end of July 2024, and at the time of recording, it's the 18th of June 2024, so in just over a month, I'm going to take my website down, the Heart Your Body website. Although my YouTube channel is going to stay up indefinitely, and you've got over 200 episodes plus of Body Confident Friday on there, and I think that's where most of you are listening to Body Confident Friday. That's going to stay up. So if you want to get access to anything on my site before then, please do it before the end of July. although you will have access to all of the free resources that I have currently on my website, together with a number of low-cost mini courses say that again, some low-cost mini courses and guides, together with my free resources. I have made those available via an online shop that I've got, and you will have access to that at least until the end of 2024. If not beyond that, I'm just going to see how it goes. So you are going to have access to some resources, even though my website is no longer going to be live after the end of July. And if you are interested to follow what I'm up to going forward, and I appreciate that learning about my experience of being an adoptee may not be relevant to you, but who knows, I may have some listeners who are also adoptees, or who know someone who's adopted, or perhaps you have adopted a child yourself, so it could be useful. So I'm going to put a link to my evolving Substack blog, which is called My Adopted Self, and an Instagram account of the same name, which is called My Adopted Self, below wherever you're listening to this. And you'll also find the link below this to my online shop as well, so you can get access to those free and low-cost digital resources that I mentioned. So I really want to thank you for following me, listening to me, reading my blogs if you've preferred to read instead of listen. And I really hope that you've got some value from what I've shared over the last 6 years that I have been doing Body Confident Friday. And even though this is my last episode, I do want to leave you with some coaching questions to guide you on your journey. So, you know, I love to leave you with some coaching questions, or to give you some hints and tips to send you on your way. So I'm going to leave you with this. Based on what I've said in this episode, what does beyond body confidence mean to you? It might mean something different to you. So what does it mean? And if you were beyond body confidence, if you felt neutral or at peace in your body, or you just didn't care whether you were confident in it or not, what would you do? What opportunities might open up for you? And as always, I'd love to hear your answers to these questions. So please do let me know in the comments below wherever you are listening. I will keep popping in to check to see what you have said in the comments. And so now all that's left for me to do is to say goodbye one last time, and to wish you lots and lots of love and light as you carry on your journey. That's all I've got for this episode of Body Confident Friday. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to catch you next time.